Wish, lads, and had your gobs, I'll tell yous all an awful story. Wish, lads, and had your gobs, and I'll tell yous about the warm. Shush, 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 shush. The old man breathes to the rhythm of the respirator, the same rhythm of the compressed air that would rush through the factory with each push of every button pressed. The shush which gushed through plastic pipes and shook each machine to life still plays in the old man's head as he coughs for breath, remembering what has gone, inhaling all that's left. Every day the shush would flush away the factory soul, its whispers hushed good morning niceties with red eyes and long, tortured yawns. The stillness of the similar, the monotony of the familiar, a relay of reality chiselled on these expressions without hope. Hunched heads hang, slouched like dashboard toys, exhaled upon the conveyor belt of factory toil. But to the old man, the shush was the rhythm of consistency, the swoosh of cable reel and machines, coiling copper wire around asphyxiated wooden barrels. The Ouroboros snake of routine, the click of the clock machine, clocking in, clocking off, suffocating everything between with shush. Nameless days melted into months never spent, like the decades cashed in to pay the rent, a life expectancy exchanged for a wage, a slave shackled to submission by the shush till old age, swaying to the golden handshake he never received. He waves goodbye to the production line of wasted time, coughing up the factory that worked him dry, turned to rust. He's good for nothing except collecting dust, recounting each second of life upon his fingers, shaken by the age he sold, grasping at the grains falling from wrinkled hands, until palms pressed together in prayer, too frail to breathe for himself. Clinging to the air from the respirator, he kisses as it sings an abrasive lullaby and softly sends him to sleep. Shush, 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 shush. We are not mining stock. We are the redundant stock. The get on your bikes and look for work stock. We are the flavourless, the stock without pots. Our teeth, the closed high street shops, shut us down, forlorn, like the frustration tagged upon our brows. We are the shafted, emasculated, mineral-less men, a generation removed from industrial stock. We are the tick-tock, counting clocks, the restless stock, wasting time on dull queue lines, with no purpose signed upon our lives. Our eyes, the abandoned cold face our grandfathers mined. We are the mothballed men, the kiln starved of heat, the kids who hated police and kicked about on streets too long, because there was nothing but an empty fire grate waiting for us at home. We are the stock who went without Christmas, that winter when bitterness was our only gift. We are the devil's hands, idle, but capable of so much more than the resentment that we hold. We are the 0-hour contract stock, the ones who learn to use phones. We mine cold calls instead of coal, on hours as low as the pittance we shovel home. We are the black sheep, the ones the government would have you believe abuse benefits solely for greed. We are the tainted memory of an industry sold and privatised, our identities debased on signatures that are valid only for a fortnight. So no, we are not mining stock. Thank you! How's everyone doing? Everyone having a good night? I'm going to put an end to that. Today is a positive day. Today is a positive day. Today is a positive day. A mantra. My salutation to the dawn. Every morning before I brush my teeth, or even brew my first cup of tea. A promise that I make to myself that this day will be better than the last. A declaration that those clouds of frustration will no longer hang overcast. For today I will shine like the sun. Today I will unlock my door, step outside, cast off anxiety's cuffs which have held me tied, stretch my arms out resurrected, baptized by the tempest which had soaked but not saturated my soul. For I am Ouroboros, and today I shall be reborn. For today is a positive day. Today is a positive day. Today is a positive day. They bleed grey. These thoughts flicked into an ashtray. This battlefield of beneficial belief. Choked like its broken brows. Breathless corpses. The dog-end soldiers of a week's despair. And with every draw, doubt advances as my fingers charge through my hair. Pushing thoughts on top of thoughts, 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 until I can't think. So I just stub out another soldier and whisper, today is a positive day. I tightly turn the begging curls into my palm. No balm can calm this itch which can't be itched. Dirty fingers comb through hair to reach the unreachable. Back and forth in tearing rips, shredding the thick into the thin, till loose locks lose their rooted grip and slip from a scarring scalp. My blood-stained nails scrape away slow healing scabs. Each exfoliated paw yearns for more, triggering my fingers to return for that release, that slow squeeze of calm. From the pole to the turn, revolving and returning, tight around twisting fingers, till it's there, clumped in my palm. But the itch persists. With scorn that burns a fever fingers can't resist to itch this itch which can't be itched. Longing for the attention of curling fingers. Receding follicles offer but brief relief. In each release they tease and tighten and tangle taps, torn apart and clipping clicks by snipping fingers which dip into strands clean to squeak. Now screaming to be dirtied by addicted digits. I tightly turn the begging curls into my palm. No balm can calm this itch. Thank you very much. I thought I'd start really happy, then we'd go very low and miserable and that. Thanks for sticking by us.
It worked! It did work!
So on a lighter note, I'm going to give you a public safety announcement. And we can get rid of this fucking hour. It's fun time! So a public safety announcement, because I have come to warn you about the dangers of corn-based snacks. Now you know those annoying twats I'm on about. The What's-its, the onion rings, the cheesy poofs, and the biggest culprit of all, Monster Munch. For these are not crisps! They're more like porous cement, claggy wet sand, clogging up the gaps. They're not crisps, but unscrapable shit, like wood chip wallpaper, mouth grout, tiring tongues, knackered from licking lacquer. So no, they are not crisps, but fucking straight jackets for teeth. What if your senses were all mixed up? What if you smelt when you heard and tasted when you touched? My ex said she suffered from this. Claimed that's why she greeted everyone with a kiss. Not always on the lips, mate. Mostly on the cheek. But she said you could only truly know someone when they got stuck between your teeth. Mind you, she also claimed she smelled through her nose. No, she smelled through her ears. She said she sniffed in tons. She once told me that when we were together, the citrus scent of love would fill her lungs. And that's why now she only ever listened through her nose. She said, if something was worth hearing, you had to inhale it. Breathe it in. Let the gravity of a person's words expand your chest. Let it rest on your lungs until you've absorbed every word that's been said. She believed the only way to taste was with your fingers. She said you had to grab what you savour, hold it, let its flavour linger over your digits and your palms. I asked her, if you really can't taste with your hands, how do you feel when you wipe your arse? She left me pretty soon. But her senses are all mixed up. She can't say how much I love her. So from a love poem to smut, which is the natural progression here. This time last year I'd done the scariest fucking venue ever, right? Newcastle's big market, Saturday night, outside.
Oh, wow.
So imagine I'm on stage shouting about how I am not Jesus Christ, whilst all these stag and hen parties, I'm peeing up the fuck as well, whilst all these stag and hen parties are walking past, leering at us and spitting and shit. So imagine my apprehension when I walked off stage and a gang of burly Scottish lads on a stag party come walking towards us shouting, Jesus! Jesus, fella! I was like, whoa. But imagine my surprise when they said, they were on the way to go to some titty bar when they seen my set and I had to stay for the whole thing. So last year when I was doing a little bit of a mini tour, I toured with this tagline, Asa J Maddison, better than strippers' tits. Tackling sexual exploitation one stanza at a time. But speaking of sexual arousal and drinking, I'm partial to a drink. But I'm starting to discover that as I get older, there's certain parts of the male anatomy that just don't function with their usual vigour once they're under the influence of alcohol. This is called my fucked fish. My fucked fish, it cannot swim. Without a fin it flops. It's more a chicken than a cock. This rooster does not rule its roost. It would rather recuperate within its coop. But hold on. Why am I talking about chickens and cocks? It's a fish that cannot swim. No matter how much I stroke its ego, I cannot shove him in. And it's driving me bleeding nuts, because he's always in the huff, like a dragon that has lost its puff. The spark is gone. His flame's been snuffed. So I end up looking like a dick, almost strangling this fucked fish, trying to instigate his bloodstream while his body's turned to ice cream, and the girls they always whisper, "It's alright." Bless them. But it's not alright. This was meant to be the night, and everything was going swimmingly until my fish got stage fright. Shriveled like a tortoise, shrinking back into its shell. A good mind to slap you about a bit if I thought that it would help. But it wouldn't, because my fish is full of bugs. Well, that was until I started feeding him these diamond blue shaped tablets. They transformed him into a rocket, engines thrusting full steam ahead. But I grew like a boxer, pure animal in bed. You see, that's the trouble with Viagra. Your fish can turn into a prick, like some steroid-injected Raji. Mine thought he was it. Rigid like he's made of calcium. Arnold Schwarzenegger of the aquarium. So I took him off those tablets, but in his one eye you can see that something's missing. Especially if we've got company, say, at a urinal pissing. For no matter how much I'm bursting, my fish just will not go. I end up looking like a tosser trying to tickle my fish to flow. So I've come to face conclusions that perhaps my fish is shy, or maybe it just needs a splint, or it could be into guys. Could it be I've got the kind of fish that will never want to swim in the dirty waters I frequent when drunk and shoving in? Still tell us not to worry. They say, there's plenty more fish in the sea. It's just unfortunate that this one's fucked and attached to me. Oh, thank you, Jimmy. This is like my spiritual home, this stage, so thank you so much. That's why I felt like really comfortable about doing a couple of new poems. And so, before I go, I'd just like to thank Jenny and Kirsten for putting this whole thing together, and you for coming out and applauding and doing stuff on here and that, and everyone involved. Fantastic. Thanks very much. I'm going to leave you with a poem that was inspired by a conversation I overheard in a bar, where this prick was discussing the woman he'd had sex with the night before, describing her as being that drunk he could tell she was gagging for it. To ask for is to actively request something. Example, you walk to the bar in a nightclub and you ask for an alcoholic beverage. The result is the bar staff serves you said drink and you hand over your cash, unless you're one of those annoying twats who pays for everything by credit card. Anyway, the result is the same. You get the drink you ask for. It's a simple transaction. You ask and you receive. Never once during these proceedings is there a written agreement. An ancient precedent on parchment paper. There is no distillery disclaimer written on the finest of print, where it states a person becomes fair game for rate when they've had too much to drink. Now let's get back to that prick at the bar, boasting about his drunken fling. Because if that's all this was, I could have probably let it slip. But he's not discussing some mutual sexual spark, but something sinister, something culturally dark. He said she was gagging for it. Listen to the dictionary definition of gag, which reads, to restrict speech. So we can assume in the very least that this woman was slurring her words. Slurred like the court judge who claimed rape convictions won't rise until women stop drinking so heavily. But a person's credibility should never be calculated by counting the amount of drinks they've consumed, then ignoring the bruises they've received. Listen, just because someone is pissed doesn't mean they are promiscuous. To assume so is to take advantage. Yet unfortunately society has granted these pricks license to prey on the weak, those too intoxicated to speak. Because if she's too drunk to remember, she'll never be believed. Perhaps that's what he meant by gagging. Listen, consent can only ever be given. To take is to rape. Thank you.